see. What are things that you didn't expect that you would have to do as a DJ?
I never really expected that DJing would take me anywhere or teach me anything about myself, but it did. The biggest thing that I learned from it was patience, because you have to be patient not only with yourself, but in general, because you are, like I said, the person that everyone is relying on to provide the music, and when they're having a good time, you're having a good time. If they're not having a good time, you're not going to be, because they're going to be nagging you. There was a situation one time where I had a DJ for, it was a Latin house party, and the music that I got was apparently not the most recent music, and nobody was having a good time. It got so bad that the person came up to me with their iPod and said, "Just plug this in," and I was like, "Oh my god."
Oh no.
That's really bad.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
I'm sure you definitely learned from that.
Yeah, and what I learned, like I said, you have to listen, do your research, do your homework, because to me, I didn't really know that much about like Latin music, so I just did, basic Google search, and I just downloaded whatever was most recent. But to put it in terms that we would probably understand, if you typed in top 40 music and did not add any other filters to that, and you just downloaded the first things, you'd probably get Britney Spears' Hit Me Baby One More Time or some Backstreet Boys. And if you play that in a club today, do you know how quickly you would get booed off?
Yeah, of course.
That is stressful, so you need to have the patience to do also the research and find out what actually is trending at the moment. And I don't know, you just another thing that I didn't expect to have to do was actually perform in front of people. It's a silly thing, but in your mind when you first start thinking about DJing, like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. But then when you actually get out there in front of even a dozen people, to 50 people, to hundreds, even thousands, you're kind of like, oh my god, all these eyes are watching me, and there's a lot of things that could happen. One time someone tripped over a cord of the speaker, and half of the music went, for the entire place went out, and as you're sitting up there, you're worrying about all this other type of stuff, all these electronics going wrong, maybe somebody spilled a drink, but this was something so simple that I didn't even realize until you had to search around with a flashlight and realize, oh, it just got unplugged.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's scary, and you kind of have to just, like I said, go with it and embrace it and realize these things are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're you have to really get your mind around that concept that things are going to happen that you didn't expect, and you just have to kind of go with it.
Yeah, like unforeseen issues that are definitely out of your control.
There are a lot of things out of control.
Yes.
I mean, you can get cut off too by the manager there because your music is way too loud or it's too offensive. It's strange, but these things have happened before.
I see. And on to the positive note, which will be my last question as well. What do you love about your job, and what makes you happy?
I like that it is mysterious. So from what I was saying, that there's this high degree of uncertainty, but I kind of learned to love that. You go into a club, or you go into, even like a song that you're not even sure if people are going to really like, but that's kind of the fun part of it. You want to test these things out. You might hear it on the radio in the car, and you're like, oh yeah, that's a cool song. Let's see, what do you think this would sound like, in front of 1,500 people, really, really loud? It sounds a lot different, and maybe at that moment on the 101 when it was really, really jam-packed with traffic, and it sounded good because maybe your mindset was like, I needed something as a release. Mm-hmm. It probably isn't the same feeling at 1 o'clock in the morning inside of a dark, smoky, well, not smoky, but a dark club with social lubricant, aka alcohol involved. So it's a lot of these things that are like very mysterious, but you kind of have to kind of understand that that's the fun part of it. You get to test things out. You get to be kind of like your own puppet master and see what happens. You gotta, like I said, be willing to bet on unsure things. It's hard growing up, especially in high school when I remember my teachers were all very they were trying to calculate our likelihood of getting into colleges. They're trying to calculate our likelihood of being successful in life, based off of all these scores, showing up to class, attendance, and all these type of things. They're all supposed to amass into some type of result of, I don't know, moving on to the next stage in life, whatever that means. And so being a DJ requires you to kind of forget all that. Don't worry about those things. You just have to try it out and see if it, you know, like I said, it's not going to go perfect. There are very few things in life that will ever go perfect. There's only two certainties, which are death and taxes. Everything else, nobody knows what's going to happen. And so, like any other job, if you want to be an engineer, I'm pretty sure you'll come across a lot of challenges. You want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer. I'm not saying that these jobs are all the same, and there's no way you can like go to school for 8 years and another 4 years for residency for being a DJ, but there's a lot of life lessons in there and a lot of things that are very impactful
Great.
for all areas of your life.
Thank you. Well, I mean, that was my last question, but was there anything else that you'd like to add to the high school students that are listening and watching?
I won't look at the camera.
Just like one last piece of advice.
You're gonna edit this, obviously.
Oh yeah, of course.
I think. What should I say?
If you're talking to high school kids,
Yeah.
and you're trying to remind them that you really could do anything, be anything you want to be.
Try it out. If it doesn't work out, try something else, but just don't ever give up and keep following that noise. I know it sounds kind of corny right now, but that is really what's important in life. And the other thing too is that if you're a DJ, you get VIP entrance into bars and clubs and a very special treatment. So very important during the 20s.
Thank you. That's perfect.
That's good.
Thank you so much. Yay.